evening and welcome to tonight's edition of News 22. I'm Gaglione.
And I'm Danny Fountain.
ABC News reporter Amy Robach did not originally plan on getting a mammogram, but she is glad she did after finding out that it saved her life. Robach had agreed to do the procedure live on the air for Good Morning America's Pink Day, and it turned out that she does have breast cancer and will undergo a bilateral mastectomy. The reporter said that her GMA colleague Robin Roberts encouraged her to do it, saying, "You know, Amy, if one life is saved, it's worth it." After having the testing done on air October 1st, Robach said the doctors informed her that she has the disease. Robach is using her story to try to help save the lives of other women. "I was also told for every person who has cancer, at least 15 lives are saved because the people around them become vigilant." Robach wrote, "They go to their doctors, they get checked. I can only hope my story will do the same and inspire every woman who hears it to get a mammogram, to take a self-exam. No excuses. It is a difference between life and death." All of us here at News 22 wish Amy a speedy recovery.
The last I Love Lucy character has passed away. Shirley Mitchell, who played Marion Strong, Lucy's friend, died at the age of 94 due to heart failure. She passed away in her Westwood condo. Her character, Marion Strong, was the one who set Lucy and Ricky up on their first date. She also appeared on many other sitcoms, such as Bachelor Father and The Beverly Hillbillies. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of Shirley.
It was all fun and games until they got caught. In North Fork, New York, 4 young men posted a picture on Instagram of them holding 2 young deer fawns they had captured. What seemed like an innocent joke turned out not to be the opposite. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation is fining the 4 young men $1,700. DEC Regional Director Peter Scully said, "The pursuit and capture of native wildlife is not tolerated in New York State." The 4 men will appear at Riverhead Justice Court on November 27th.
A former town fire lieutenant of Manchester has been sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to a child pornography charge. 48-year-old Dominic Cataya was arrested in 2010 after having 2 separate email addresses tracked for sending images of child porn. At his home and in his email accounts, 30 images of boys and girls were found who were 12 to 15 years old and involved in sexual acts with each other and adults. Cataya pleaded guilty to second-degree possession of child pornography and was sentenced on November 4th to 10 years in prison, suspended after 3 years, and 3 years of probation. He resigned from the Fire Rescue EMS department, which he had previously worked for about 19 years.
Hamden police are looking for the man who ate sushi while strolling through the aisles of ShopRite around 6:30 p.m. this past Tuesday. The sushi shoplifting occurred at the 2100 Dixwell Avenue ShopRite, where a member of store security spotted a man in his 40s eating sushi while walking through the store, and then saw him leave with even more sushi without paying for it. As the security officer approached the man, there was a physical confrontation, and the hungry thief stole the security officer's portable radio before taking off in a white truck, which was described as possibly a Ford or Mazda, police said. Police searched the area, and unfortunately, they did not find the hungry thief.
New London police didn't have to go far to arrest a man accused of urinating on a police car this past Tuesday. A female officer was arriving to work that night around 10 o'clock p.m. where she spotted Mark Bass, 29, of New London urinating on a police car that was in the parking lot of police headquarters. The female cop then went into work to notify the shift commander and to get assistance, police said. When officers went outside to check, they found Bass lying on the ground, partially underneath the police car, and realized he was heavily intoxicated. Not only was Bass heavily intoxicated, police also found a loaded .40 caliber Glock semi-automatic handgun. Although Bass had a valid pistol permit, he was charged with carrying a loaded firearm while under the influence of alcohol and second-degree breach of peace. He was released on a $2,500 bond.
Students at high-poverty area schools will now be expanding their school days as a part of a new initiative. Those school systems include Bridgeport, Meriden, and Windham. Governor Daniel Malloy said, "We have a fundamental obligation to students and teachers to ensure that we are doing the most with time allotted each day, instead of spending more time on typical coursework," according to the Associated Press. Many schools will use the extra 300 hours a year for things that usually aren't fit in a regular school day, such as learning about world cultures, healthy living, and even scrapbooking. Other states that included the initiative are Colorado, Massachusetts, and New York, where they have developed expanded school schedules as part of the Time Collaborative. Some are already using the extra time for instruction and enrichment.
And we'll be back with this week's editorial after this short break.
Do you like this top? It's so gay.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
All in together now. We can make it better now. Come on, can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll rope it up.
Cause we know how to jump.
We'll roll it out.
Cause we know how to skate.
We'll cut it down.
Cause we know what to eat.
We'll swap it out.
We eat healthy stuff.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Yeah, well come on.
Today's a good day to grab your kids and hang out with them for an hour. Dance, walk, play a sport, or cook a healthy meal. Because just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll ball it up.
Cause we know how to hoop.
We'll mess around.
Cause we know how to play.
We'll drop it down.
Cause we know how to dance.
We'll veg it up.
Veggie night and day.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
All in together now. We can make it better now.
Search We Can to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day to keep you and your kids healthy.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
And we're back with this week's editorial.
Good evening, I'm Shelby Akers with this week's editorial. So this past Monday was Veterans Day, a day to honor those who have served our country for the last century. Veterans Day stands to recognize those who have fought in past wars as well as those currently fighting to protect and preserve the integrity and territory of America. We honor those who have served by announcing them heroes, building monuments and staging parades, feeling the unwavering need to do something for veterans. Now, it's not to say that civilians don't have good intentions in showing reverence to former soldiers. It is considered polite to clap at football games when veterans are announced, and it is socially accepted morale that former military troops deserve to be treated with a higher respect than the average American. But these people are not asking for that. In fact, they'd be perfectly content falling under the radar and becoming a part of community life without the glamour of glorification and deliberate recognition. Perhaps veterans are memorialized for the wrong reasons. The admiration held by a majority of Americans towards veterans does little to help integrate them back into the working world. Veterans are often referred to in the past tense. We assume that the best chapters of their life were the first chapters, the days of gunfire and bunkers, of battle and bloodshed. But they're not, at least not to those who were there. Perhaps the biggest problem with placing veterans on this pedestal is that they become trophies, objects to be adorned with and revered. They are people we look back on and admire from a distance, but do we really know what they did? Do I? And further, we treat them as if they're a fragile piece of glass. Now, their experience in the war may have caused them to develop severe mental anxiety, PTSD, and depression, but that doesn't make them unfit for a career once they return. We have this kind of nostalgic admiration for veterans, and it paints a skewed picture that leaves them feeling underappreciated and rewarded for all the wrong reasons. A lot of veterans that return home do not want to be recognized, nor do they want parades or clapping. They just want comfort in knowing that they can be a citizen once again. There's also this problem that seems to rear two ugly faces, the one that reveres and admires the veteran as a hero of war, and the one that sees the veteran as nothing more than a wandering, broken spirit, unstable, expendable, and a time bomb waiting to explode. It bothers me a lot, actually, that we're so concerned with honoring veterans when they don't see what they did as heroic or brave. They're just trying to become citizens once again. A lot of veterans have resorted to committing suicide because they can't find a way to fit back into society. It's like the toy nobody wanted for Christmas. And we can't seem to figure out what's broken. But that's it. Nothing is broken. I know some of these people. If you treat them like they're mentally ill, chances are they'll begin to believe that. It lessens their chances of finding a job, and it's degrading, not only to the individual, but to the country of America. The fact that we are so far distant, we will never understand and never know what these men do in combat. And we probably don't want to know. But that's it. We say, I couldn't even imagine what they went through. A veteran doesn't want you to say that. They don't want you to think they've had it rough. They want normalcy. They want, essentially, freedom. I don't know. It bothers me. I know a handful of people who are either in or have returned from service, and we treat them as if they're these untouchables, as if they're so easily broken. It's sad, really. All they want is work. They want organizations to help them get back on their feet, and they want programs that will help them to overcome the mental turmoil they've endured since battle. Veterans do not want a pedestal. It is dangerous for them in several ways. A lot of veterans remarked that they themselves did think better of the average civilian and were offended when they were not recognized upon the return home. This type of reverence we pay to veterans has them placing themselves on pedestals until they realize that they're just like us and that really we're a lot like them. Our best chapters are not behind us, they're in front of us. So please, if you want to help the veterans, please just treat them as equals. For News 22, I'm Shelby Akers.
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom.
It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When you're on this team, you learn to never give up.
Even if you're down, third-string quarterback, clock ticking,
Hostile environment.
exhausted, you can never lose hope.
There are over 13 million people in the Horn of Africa affected by famine, war, and drought that are counting on us for help.
More people affected than the population of New York City
and Los Angeles combined.
And we can't give up.
Please go to this site and forward the facts about this crisis to everyone you know.
Do more than donate.
Forward the facts.
Saturday night, a large crowd assembled in the Betty Tipton Room for the 3rd annual Connecticut Collegiate Acapella Sing-Off. Both Eastern Acapella programs, Fallen Flat and Key of She, were co-hosts of the event. This event allowed 5 collegiate college acapella programs to compete for first place. Some colleges had 2 acapella groups, while others only had 1. The different groups that performed were TGFI, Parallel Fifths, Extreme Madness, Cordials, Fermata the Blue, Rolling Tones, Coco Bow, and LaSure. Prior to the presentation of awards, members of Fallen Flat and Key of She performed their own medleys, which had the audience clapping and singing along. Western Connecticut's all-male a cappella group took home the trophy with their medley of songs which included Thrift Shop, Don't Drop That Thun Thun, and Grind on Me. The audience responded with laughter and applause. Congratulations, Parallel Fifths, and keep on singing.
This past Monday night, Nutmeg residents were given a chance to become CPR certified. News 22 reporter Nate Mosian was there to check it out.
For News 22, I'm reporting from Nutmeg Hall, where Eastern students are given the opportunity to become CPR certified. This past week, students gathered in Nutmeg Hall, where they had the opportunity to join R.A. Quinice and ECSU student Stephanie Potter to become CPR certified by the American Heart Association. After an introductory video, the residents were given hands-on experience with basic CPR techniques.
My name is Stephanie Potter. I'm a junior here at Eastern. I'm a certified CPR instructor. I was certified 4 months ago. I wanted to teach CPR at Nutmeg for I felt that not a lot of people have the opportunity to take a class.
About 10 students showed up for the hour-long class in the Nutmeg game room. To earn the certification, they were fully assessed on various CPR techniques that were taught in the video and by their instructors. We met with R.A. Quinese to gain some insight as to why she decided to host this program.
Tonight in Nutmeg Game Room, residents are learning how to do CPR. A resident approached me asking me if I would put on a program to teach residents how to do CPR, and I thought it would be a good idea. It would be beneficial for residents to know how to conduct CPR in emergency situations. So I got the program together. She notified her instructor from the American Heart Association, and we got together and collaborated and put on the program. The program seems to be going very well. There are about 9 students who came to attend the program, and it was a good turnout, I think. So I'm going to think about doing the program again for the next semester because it's beneficial for residents to know.
Students gathered in the Nutmeg game room for about an hour to learn step-by-step instructions on how to do CPR. They were given real-life scenarios and were asked to perform CPR on mannequins. Nutmeg residents not only learned how to open up the victim's airways to give them oxygen, but they also were taught how to properly use the AED machine in the attempt to save someone's life. This educational program also allowed students to receive their CPR certification at a much lower cost.
Hi, my name is Alyssa. I came here today to get my CPR certification because it was less expensive than a normal certification class, and it was a really good experience because I was surrounded by people that I know rather than a bunch of strangers, and it was a really comfortable environment.
The American Heart Association takes advantage of the chances to instruct these CPR classes at universities throughout the United States. Students are more likely to take the class when it is offered in a convenient setting. We caught up with American Heart Association instructor Maria Hanna to learn more.
My name is Maria Hanna. I've been teaching for the American Heart Association for about 25 years. When Stephanie Potter had the idea to do this course for ECSU students, I thought I would give her a hand. I thought it was a great idea for a course that would typically be a little bit more expensive for people to get certified in.
Thanks to the American Heart Association, several students will leave tonight with the knowledge of how to perform CPR in certain life-threatening situations. For News 22, I'm Nathan Mosian.
Thanks, Nate. CPR certification is an important skill to have in the case of an emergency. To find out how to get CPR certified, visit the American Heart Association website.
Last Friday night, Eastern students were given the opportunity to attend a Hartford Wolfpack game. The game was held at the XL Center in Hartford. The Hartford Wolfpack played the Providence Bruins in front of a decent crowd. Students were able to enjoy the company of their peers, $1 hot dogs, free t-shirts, quality on-the-ice fights, and tickets at discounted prices. Everyone that attended the trip seemed to be enjoying themselves. I look forward to planning a trip to the sporting event in the spring, possibly a Yankee Red Sox game, said CAB Sports and Recreation Coordinator Gabrielle Palladino. Although the semester is coming to a close, be sure to show your support for CAB and attend their last events of the year.
In the wake of the CCSU lockdown, schools across Connecticut are revisiting their emergency lockdown policies. TV22 reporter Haley Wolverton has more.
With CCSU added to the list of campus lockdowns, Eastern decided to take a look into their precautions on school lockdowns and shootings. Eastern Connecticut State University takes pride in ensuring the safety of its students and community and allows students and faculty to be fully prepared if a lockdown occurred. We spoke with RA and senior Tina Zorzi on the recent CCSU lockdown.
So it was really scary when the news broke the other day about CCSU because we are a sister school of them. So I immediately was really terrified, and I was running a study group, and so immediately we closed the door in the library and shut the blinds just to be precautious. And that's something I learned from RA training. We do gun safety, and in case an intruder ever did come in, what to do. And I know a lot of RAs do programs on campus here about that, just so everybody would know how to react in that kind of scenario. And the police officers do come in and they do a training session, we watch a video, and that's something that I think everybody at school really should take advantage of.
We spoke with Hall Director Carrie Robinson on precautions she takes on this issue.
As a hall director, the procedures that we take when there's an active shooter on campus to ensure the safety of our students, we make sure that our building is safe and secure as far as no students coming in or out of the building. We make sure that our students are in their rooms and away from windows and not in any common areas. We make sure that no students obviously are coming in, and that we're taking the right precautions and making sure that our students are safe and secure in the building.
With over 5,000 students and 12 dorms, students need to take the necessary precautions in order to secure themselves in their buildings. We spoke with student Keith Sardo on what he thinks Eastern should do to better educate their students.
I feel that the way CCSU authorities handled the situation was perfect. I believe that though it was a misunderstanding, it's better to be safe than sorry, and also that to stop things like this happening again, that schools should better inform their students by holding mandatory meetings, whether you're a freshman or a senior, and that if there ever was an instance like this at Eastern, that they should alert you 3 ways: email, text, and phone call. I think phone call is a little drastic, but sometimes people don't always look at their text, but if they get a phone call, they'll look down, and that'll be a lot better than just emailing someone, because not everyone checks their emails nowadays. And as a kid, I'm concerned for my own safety, so anything that my school can do to react to the situation as soon as possible makes me feel a lot more comfortable. And I can also see from a parenting standpoint, I would want my kid to know that they're safe going away at school. Also, that brings up another point, that parents should also be notified if there was an incident at school. They shouldn't have to hear from the news that a shooting happened or a possible shooting happened. They should have to hear from their own personal school.
In order to educate Eastern students on the procedures when it comes to an active shooter on campus, I think it comes down to education. I know in the beginning of the fall semester, every first-year student has to go through a mandatory fire safety meeting, so it would be beneficial for those students and for all upperclassmen students to go through a mandatory active shooter training where the police come in and talk about the procedures and show a video on what to do, and also just educating students on what the alarm sounds like from the blue boxes around campus, and just all comes down to education.
Coming to you from ECSU, I'm Haley Wolverton for News 22.
To find out Eastern's specific safety policies, please refer to the campus safety page on Eastern's website.
And we'll be back with this week's sports after this short break.
So, are you going out tonight? I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work. That's so gay. Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know, when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Jangan aku.
This song was created with heartbeats of children in need. Find out how it can help frontline health workers bring hope to millions of children at everybeatmatters.org.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach
likes
your
you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
And we're back with This Week Sports.
Hi, I'm Brian Dostaler with This Week Sports Update. This Friday, Eastern men's basketball team will host the tip-off tournament for the start of the regular season. News 22 reporter Tyler Smith went to go see how they're preparing for the regular season.
I'm here at Eastern Connecticut State University, where the Warriors are hosting their last scrimmage before the regular season against Roger Williams. Eastern's men's basketball team has been very successful in the past couple of years. They finished above 600 for 5 years straight and have had success in the NCAA tournaments. They lost a couple of core players last season and have a young team consisting of only 4 seniors. Success has become a tradition, and the 5 new freshman players will look to make an impact and try to advance to the tournament finals yet again. In the past 2 years, Eastern's men's basketball team has accomplished a feat that hasn't been performed in nearly 20 years. They made it to 2 NCAA tournament victories and had a berth in the NCAA Sweet 16. The Warriors have now had 3 straight seasons of at least 20 victories. In the 2011-2012 season, the team finished with a program best of 24 wins and won the program's first Little East Conference tournament title since the year 2000. Much of the success can be credited to head coach Bill Geithner. Geithner is now in his 12th season with Eastern, and he has been named the LEC Coach of the Year twice in the last 3 seasons. Before coming to Eastern, Geithner was an assistant at 5 different schools, including Division I school, Loyola College in Maryland. We caught up with Eastern Sports Information Director Bob Molta about the success of Coach Geithner.
Bill's done a great job in the program. It's his 12th year now. He struggled his first 5 or 6 years. Then he really started to put it together. I think the turning point was when he got a player named Nick Nedwick, who ended up being our all-time leading scorer. Nick came in as a freshman, played, was a great offensive player, great defensive player, really got people going. And then every year they've just added pieces to the puzzle. So right now, Bill's coming off the ECAC championship season last year. Like I said, 4 20-win seasons in a row. He's really got the program to be one of the best teams in New England the last 5 years.
News 22 caught up with Coach Geithner after the game. I'm here in the Geisler Gymnasium with head coach Bill Geithner. Bill, last year your team finished 800. That was the best record since 1970. How do you look to continue your success this year?
Well, we have 9 returners from that team last year, so we're going to rely heavily on that senior leadership of Justin Nunez, Brian Salzillo, and Mike Garrow. We returned some good players. We've added what we feel will eventually be good players. So we're excited for the season. We know we have a long way to go, but today was a good step. I think we learned some things about ourselves today, and hopefully we continue to get better every day.
Now, it is a young team with a lot to learn. They also, per height average, are undersized in the conference. It will be a challenge for Geithner to get the team's 5 freshmen to rally around both him and his seniors.
The men's team has built a tradition the last few years of winning. They've won 20 games each of the last 4 years. They've lost a number of very good players from the team that won the ECAC last year, including Chris Robitaille, their center. From all indications, they've had a great recruiting year. It's going to be a young team. People like Mike Garrow, Brian Salzillo will be the veterans, but they brought in a lot of young guys that are talented. It's a matter of whether they're going to mesh early on.
Eastern hopes to continue their dominance of the LEC this Friday for the tip-off tournament. As always, they have a tough, long road ahead, but they are confident they can repeat their success. This upcoming Friday, Eastern's men's basketball team will take on Worcester State in the Geisler Gymnasium for the first round of the tip-off tournament. I'm Tyler Smith for News 22.
Thanks, Tyler, for that report. I'm Brian Dostaler reporting for News 22.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see any of our past shows, go to tv22.blip.tv. I'm Allie Gaglione.
And I'm Danny Fountain. Have a good night.